welcome to my channel. This is my friend
Kwan.
and today we have a really cool video for you. We're gonna be doing the part 2 of the civil engineering and mining engineering QA.
Sure.
That we're going with?
Q&A,
We're going Q&A. So the first part is actually going to be on his channel, so make sure you check that one out. We're going to be leaving you the information on the description down below as well as in the cards, so don't miss that one. And this video is going to be our part 2 of the actual video, so we're going to be discussing pretty cool questions and
Hope you like it.
hope you like it. Alright, let's get started.
Okay, so the next question is, was it hard getting a job out of university, and what job search process did you have to go through?
Well, for me it wasn't, because I had with COP, those COP connections for me kind of helped me get a job after school, but I know it hasn't been easy for some of my friends just because right now the market has been a little bit rough to find a job.
So did you work with the same company that you interned with?
Yeah, so basically I did my 2 kind of co-op terms with that company and then ended up going back with them after graduation. So that was kind of easy for me. I'm kind of lucky in that sense. But
Did they give you the offer before you ended your co-op term with them? Or
Yeah.
was it after? Okay.
Yeah.
So sweet.
So yeah.
You headed into 4th year knowing that you got a job.
Exactly,
Awesome.
which is, it's a privilege, honestly, to have that done. But I know it's been hard for some other people, but yeah. How about for you?
Actually, I got one more question for you, just a follow-up.
Yeah.
I guess for your graduating year, do you know roughly how many people got a job before graduation?
Not a lot, actually.
Okay.
No. So I can only speak for my circle of friends.
Sure.
So about 1/3 of us had a job before graduation. Yeah. And I still have some friends that haven't found a job within engineering. So yeah. How about you?
So my story is pretty similar to hers because I did work 16 months of Suncor. I did get a returning offer, but I didn't get it until I guess almost near Christmas time of 4th year. So it was I guess overall pretty smooth process. It was just my old manager called me and said, "Hey, do you have a job?" And then I said, "No, I'm still looking." And then a few weeks later, I just got an offer letter. Yeah.
Nice. So were you okay moving? I know, because it was a pretty drastic change for you.
Yeah, so I guess I was living in Vancouver and then I had to move to Fort Mac. I guess not too much of a change in the sense that because I already spent 16 months here, right? And I do kind of a bit of a
So you had been
circle
here
of
before, so that was you kind of knew town and stuff.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I guess more importantly, I have a social circle here already.
That's good. That's important, right? Because I find that it's a little bit harder to make friends as an adult.
Yeah.
It's not as easy. But that's good. Good for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice.
So next question is, what is your full-time job about? I know we've already spoken a little bit about it, but tell us a little bit more and just take us through a day and what your life is.
All right. So it kind of has changed a little bit from, starting the actual job to right now. But my job has been, right now, as a civil engineer in training. So basically, I mostly assist engineers and kind of see what they do to kind of learn from the process. But I have done from, preparing specifications of a contract to doing the quantity estimating for a contract as well. And then I've also done site inspection and, kind of overseeing the overall construction process of a project. So for right now, I am involved in the construction of this big infrastructure project. It's a snow site. So basically, snow that gets collected during the winter time is going to go to this place, and it's going to go through a series of a process, and then it's going to get managed instead of dumping the snow anywhere else, right? It's going to have that place. So basically, a day in my life would be, waking up, checking all those emails, making sure I'm caught up on everything, and then driving to site. Doing inspections, talking to the foreman, talking to the site superintendent, just to make sure I know what's going to happen that day, what's going to happen this week. It's always a constant communication. what are they doing what are they doing today, what are they doing tomorrow. If I need to schedule any inspections for other specialties they need to come, then I will make sure I get that information and pass it on. So it's always like talking a lot with people, which I find that I didn't think it was gonna be that that important, but communicating with your team and with the contractor, that's usually a pretty big part of my day. And then just making sure things are getting built per the drawings, per the specifications. And if the contractor has like a question that I have no idea, which it happens more often than you think, then I get that question, talk to the team, kind of like get an answer. Yeah, basically kind of really know what I can answer, what I cannot answer, and kind of know how to handle that. And just reroute the question towards the team. They answer it, and all that. We always get that happy ending. But yeah, it's just kind of managing that day to day, that expectation, like knowing my limits, knowing what I can answer, what I can. So it's a constant learning. It's definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I think you really hit the point on that part about communication, because in my role, it actually sounds a lot similar to yours. Like there's a lot of communication, answering questions, talking with our team. But just one follow-up question for you is, how long have you been working on that project?
So we started that project in January, and right now it's September. So it has been going on for a while. It might be going on for a while longer. Yeah, anyways, I don't really want to get into too much detail just because of,
Sure.
all that stuff with the, yeah. But yeah, it's been kind of cool to kind of see how it progressed, how it went from like an empty site, and then slowly progressing through months. Like it's been really interesting to kind of see that progression, and of course at the end have an actual tangible thing, like a structure that's gonna help, the city, is gonna help like people, it's gonna maintain the roads a little bit cleaner. And anyways, yeah, it's been a lot, like a lot though, but it has been a lot of learning for sure.
So a little bit about my job. So short range tailings planner would just help manage. So technically I'm responsible for like 0 to 2 months, but more realistically I do 0 to 6 months. But the more, I guess, like there's like a scheduling part and there's more of like an execution part, which is more within like 0 to 2 weeks. So just within like the 0 to 2 weeks, I'll take like a very more detailed look on how exactly we're gonna deposit our tailings. Do we have the pipelines to get our tailings from one place to another? Whether we have enough space to do it, whether we can do it so that it's safe for the people who's working with the equipment, and also if it's safe geotechnically. So in order to do that, I have to build a robust schedule. Also to develop a maintenance plan. Always be talking with operations, maintenance, reliability. Sometimes even the mid-range planning team. What else?
Actually, good question about that.
Sure.
So do you find that your schedule, actual schedule like gets, followed by the T, like, you know what I mean? Because I find that in civil, schedule is like a pretty document that it's in the background, like, because civil projects usually get impacted a lot by weather, so it's a lot of weather dependent in some cases. So I find like a schedule, it can say this and this and that, but it usually deviates quite a bit. Is that something you find also?
Absolutely, for mining. Also, we get impacted by weather events. For us, tailings is something that's pouring 24/7, 365 days a week. Barring except like any line shutdowns for maintenance work. But again, the tailings that are coming out of the processing plants, I guess they always have a different quality to it depending on what the mine feeds to the processing plant. So because of that, or because of like maybe changes in manpower, for example, like our plan always changes all the time. So as a short-range tailings planner, you always have to be looking at what's changing and changing your plan along with that.
Yeah, and I find like that's something you need to, really you actually develop, like adaptability, like how many different things can affect it and kind of include it on your schedule so you're like covered, right? I find like anything like it never just goes according to plan, so you have to make sure you're, having some wiggle room there.
Yeah. It's, I guess like having the plan is maybe like not the most crucial thing, but it's just understanding like how I don't know, like external forces affect your plan and how you can respond to it.
Exactly, yeah. Having that a backup plan, that plan B or C or D or E, F said.
This question is, how much different was it working as a student versus full-time?
I feel like it's one word: responsibility. As full-time, like now as an actual, engineering training, like you're actually designated by a PEGA, it's an engineering training, you have a lot more responsibility and there's a lot more expectations of you, right? As a student, you're still learning. Of course, as an EIT, you're still learning as well, but I find like there are more responsibilities that you have to manage and you have to, covered.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll totally agree with that. One thing I would add is, at least for my position, is that the responsibility also increases in terms of the financial side. If something doesn't go well, that's under your responsibility. It could lead to a quite huge loss of revenue for the company.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, I guess, the environmental and safety side as well for mining. Next question is, what software do you use and what are they for?
Excel is your best friend. You have no idea what spreadsheets, spreadsheets have like a place in my heart. Like, make sure you know your Excel, because that's like the most used, I think, for me. Like, I know there's like, software you can use to do structural work and all that stuff, but personally, I've dealt mostly with Excel.
And to what level do you need to know Excel for?
You need to know it inside out, I would say. Just because, of course, you can know the basic stuff, but when you need to do something like repeatedly, you kind of want just to create a template that you can just, code it, have that template ready, and then whenever something comes up, I have this handy dandy template. I can just put all my information here and there, and then it's going to compute everything for me, everything that I want, and it's so time saving, and it's just the best. Know your Excel. How about you?
Yeah, I use Excel a lot. Definitely need to know it inside out, because all my plans are based on Excel. Well, we used to use Microsoft Projects. I'm not too well versed into it, but so then I switched back to Excel. So now I'm using Excel for that.
Project for you use it for scheduling?
Yeah, for scheduling.
Yeah, both of those. But Excel.
But then I also use some design software. So the first software I use is called Mindscape. So it's a CAD software, I guess more specific to mining. So that's how I design ramps, the cell layouts for my tailings structure. And I also use Mach 3D, which is a tailing specific software to model how tailings deposit into our sand dome.
Yeah, nice. Because I thought when I was in university, we did have courses in CAD. It was very introductory, but I realized after working a lot, that CAD is mostly used by technicians. So basically, you give them the parameters of the design, and they're the ones who actually draft everything up. So actually, you don't really do a lot of CAD. Or at least I haven't done a lot of CAD yet.
That's interesting. So you got an army of technicians.
Exactly, they're your best friends. They help you quite a bit. Actually, they have a really important role. Yeah.
We don't get so much of that, at least in mine planning. We have to do a lot of designs ourselves. I guess we do have a few people working with CAD, CAD specialists that can help us out, but mainly as planners, you are responsible for your designs.
Cool, interesting. Something that's these are different there.
Did you have any difficulties adjusting to the working world?
I find at first I did. Just because I kind of miss the social aspect of university, right? You're always surrounded by people you're around your age, and it's a little bit easier, right? Work.
Ice cream truck.
La cucaracha. Um, but yeah, so I find that that's something that kind of was a little bit harder, especially working in a smaller office. Right now that I'm working in a smaller office, um, but the 8 to 5 sometimes gets you. You know, like in university, you have a little bit more flexibility with your time, but now with this, it's 8 to 5 mostly every day, and yeah, but it does give you more time to do other things that you actually like to do outside of work. But I find the social aspect was the hardest for me.
Yeah, I would echo the same sentiment with that. But the responsibility side is just, I guess when you're a student, you can sort of like at 4 p.m. just turn off your computer and that's that. But sometimes it's a full-time EIT, like,
Yeah,
I guess it's dependent on project, but you may just need to put a little bit of extra time to just finish what you need to do before the deadline.
exactly. Yeah, because you're accountable for all that stuff, right?
How much time do you spend outdoors versus indoors while working?
Um, well, because I've been, the full-time inspector on that job, so I'm mostly the office is my truck right now. So I'm basically outside every day. But I remember last year when I was kind of starting, I was mostly in the office. So it does really depend what you're actually doing. But what I find in civil, the common trend is as you go, as you increase your experience, as you go higher, the less time you're in the field. So it's mostly office based, and you're actually start developing more of a designer role instead of like a site inspector and all that stuff.
Yeah, a little bit similar to mining as well. I guess if you're usually if you're just new to your career, usually you'll be working short range, so more exposure in the field. And then as you progress through your career, you work in long range planning, which is when you will spend most of your time in the office. Um,
It's called the cow garage can no longer walk because it's missing because it doesn't have the front leg.